Welcome to Chapter 11. It's a network. Managing a small network requires many of the same skills as those required for managing a larger one. The majority of work is focused on maintenance and troubleshooting of existing equipment, as well as securing devices and information on the network. In order to meet user requirements, even small networks require planning and design. Planning ensures that all requirements, cost factors, and deployment options are given due consideration. Cost is typically one of the most important factors when selecting equipment for a small business network. The cost of a switch or router is determined by its capability features. Other factors in consideration are speed and types of ports, expandability, operation system features, and services. Another important part of the network design is reliability. Even small businesses often rely on their network heavily for business operation. A failure of the network can be very costly. In order to maintain a high degree of reliability, redundancy is required in the network design. Redundancy helps to eliminate single points of failure. Most of the technicians work in either a small or a large network will in some way be involved with these network protocols. Network protocols support the applications and services used by employees in a small network. Common network protocols include DNS, Telnet, IMAP, SMTP, POP, email, DHCP, HTTP, FTP. Growth is a natural process for many small businesses, and their network must grow accordingly. To scale a network, several elements are required: network documentation, device inventory, budget, and traffic analysis. Intrusion by an unauthorized person can result in costly network outages and loss of work. Attacks to a network can be devastating and can result in a loss of time and money due to damages or theft of important information or assets. After a hacker gains access to a network, four types of threats may arise: information theft, identity theft, data loss, manipulation, disruption of service. Even in small networks, it is necessary to consider security threats and vulnerabilities when planning a network implementation. Four classes of physical threats are hardware threats that may cause physical damage to servers, routers, switches, cabling plant, and workstations; environmental threats, temperatures too hot or too cold, or humidity extremes, too wet or too dry; electrical threats, voltage spike, insufficient supply voltage, brownouts, unconditioned power, noise, and total power loss; maintenance threats, poor handling of key electrical components, electrostatic discharge, lack of critical spare parts, poor cabling, or poor labeling. When you think of network security or even computer security, you may imagine attackers exploiting software vulnerabilities. An equally important vulnerability is the physical security of devices. Three network security factors are vulnerability, threat, and attack. Vulnerability is the degree of weakness which is inherent in every network and device. Threat include the people interested and qualified in taking advantage of each security weakness. Threats are realized by multiple tools, scripts, and programs to launch attacks against networks and network devices. Malicious code attacks include a number of types of computer programs that were created with the intention of causing data loss or damage. The three main types of malicious code attacks are viruses, Trojan horses, and worms. A worm executes arbitrary code and installs copies of itself in the infected computer's memory, which infects other hosts. A virus is malicious software that is attached to another program to execute a particular unwanted function on a user's workstation. A Trojan horse is different only in that the entire application was written to look like something else, when in fact it is an attack tool. Reconnaissance attacks. the unauthorized discovery and mapping of systems, services, or vulnerabilities. Access attacks, the unauthorized manipulation of data, system access, or user privileges. Denial of service, the disabling or corruption of networks, system, or services. Another environment that is increasingly taking advantage of network technology is the home. Home networks are being used to provide connectivity and internet sharing among multiple personal computer systems and laptops through the house. An integrated router is like having several different devices connected together. For example, the connection between the switch and the router still occurs, but occurs internally. When a packet is forwarded from one device to another on the same local network, the integrated switch will automatically forward the packet to the destination device. If a packet is forwarded to a device on a remote network, however, the integrated switch will then forward the packet to the internal router connection. The internal router will then determine the best path and forward the packet out accordingly. Most integrated routers offer both wired switching capabilities and wireless connectivity, and serve as the access point AP in the wireless network. Finally, for testing network connectivity to local and remote destinations, commands such as ping, telnet, and traceroute are commonly used. A firewall is one of the most effective security tools available for protecting internal network users from external threats. A firewall resides between two or more networks and controls the traffic between them and also helps prevent unauthorized access. To protect network devices, it is important to use strong passwords, also when accessing network devices remotely. It is highly recommended to enable SSH instead of the unsecured telnet. On the Cisco IS devices, the shown version command can be used to verify and troubleshoot some of the basic hardware and software components used during the boot up process. To view information for all network interfaces and router, the showip interface command is used. The showip interface brief can also be used to view a more abbreviated output than the showip interface command. Thank you for listening. This is Chapter 11. It's a network.